the Director General of the Progressives Governors Forum. Mr. Salu Lukman joins us on the program. He joins us virtually. Thank you so much, Mr. Lukman, for joining us tonight, and it's good to see you again. And here in our Abuja studio is a member of the House of Representatives representing Oyo State in the Parliament, Honorable Shina Pella. Thank you so much, Honorable, for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Let me begin with you, Mr. Lukman. Give us a sense of the fulcrum of your presentation today. You're one of those who believe that things are probably not right. What do you think, or what in your mind is a major problem bedeviling your party, APC?
Well, thank you very much, Shaun. First, I think we have to commend the young people who put the conference together, and the main issue is to discuss the kind of party we want to emerge. And they invited me to present the keynote address, and I thought we just need to go down to the basics. And the basic as it is basically a question of party leaders respecting decisions taken and committing themselves to implementing decisions. As it is, the main issue now, which is all over the news, is the question of whether APC is going to hold its convention or not. That question shouldn't have arisen in the first place, because party leaders did the needful, consulted among themselves, agreed to a date in February, and gave the responsibility to the caretaker. So the whole thing, the reluctance by the caretaker to proceed with the arrangement is basically the issue. And it's take us back to some of the challenges that led to the emergence of the caretaker in the first place, which is that regular meetings that are expected to take place to review critical issues facing the party are not taking place. And we need to really get that going. And so in terms of my presentation highlighted some of these issues and tried to appeal that, okay, how do we get out of all this? We had very rough experience with the last NWC, and now we are having another rough experience, which is avoidable entirely with the current caretaker committee. And those are some of the focus of my presentation. And in terms of everything, I zeroed down on the question of the need to really ensure that we get leaders who really have good relationship with other leaders of the party, both at the national level and at their own state level. The other issue which I try to highlight as a requirement in terms of the kind of leadership we need to get out of all this back and forth is the need to ensure that leaders who emerge at national level don't operate as emperors. They must submit themselves with humility to be accountable to local structures, which means that basically the model, and my argument, this has been my argument, the model, President Buhari doesn't interfere with what is going on in Katsina State. So leaders in Katsina State have every confidence to take decisions, and President Buhari respect it. So if we have leaders at national level, they should also do that. And there are other critical offices which we need to really, really appeal to our leaders to pay attention. It's not everybody that should occupy it. The deputy national chairman, the two of them.
Who, Honorable Pella, into the conversation, who is equally a chieftain of the APC. Perhaps Honorable Pella believes so much that he's one of the young people in the party. You heard what Mr. Lukman has said. In your own view, are the young people in your party being carried along?
Shaun, the situation is, there are two sides to the story. I'm sure you still have some young people in the party, although we have a lot of young people outside. But when we're in this kind of situation, I don't like to dwell on the past or the present. We have an opportunity that is ahead, which is in 2023. This country is going into transition, and there is a process to that. So the youth must first of all see themselves as the engine room to win for the party. And if we want to do that as a youth, what we should be focusing on now is putting ourselves together, making sure that we create a vehicle, making sure that we have a driver, making sure that the opportunity that is coming ahead, we are prepared, to get it. Whether we like it or not, people will continue to have different interests in the party at this kind of time. This is a party that is in power. It is normal for there to be crisis because you have different people with different interests. But in this situation, it already shows that there is transition coming. And you know that the youth being occupying 70% of this population and the workforce of this country should see themselves as the decider of the next election.
But did the youth realize that?
Yeah, that is what but that is what I'm saying now. Because we've seen NSAS, in this country, when youths came together beyond political ideology, religion, or even ethnicity for one cause. And at the end of the day, because there was no leadership, that was an exam that was failed. And we lost people. You understand what I'm saying? So in this time, you have an opportunity. It's not an entitlement. So we must understand the difference between an entitlement and an opportunity. An entitlement, if you're sleeping in a hotel, yeah, come and decide this. But if you are not there, other people will decide on your behalf. So for now, people will continue to argue. The party will have big issues. At the party, they will try to put structures together and everything. But the youth, first of all, must show to the party that we are ready. We must be able to create a platform to have a common goal. Of course, we share the responsibility towards achieving, that aim of making sure that the youth decide what they want in 2023. So for me...
You see a youth president in 2023? Or a younger president?
Yeah, I see a
because
younger...
when we say youth, we need to define
that's
what that means.
I see a younger president. I don't, because our problem is not just presidency. Democracy that you see has different arms of government. The judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. You can't just focus on one in the executive and believe that you want to change the country. You understand what I'm saying? So that is why the youth must, first of all, come together and prepare themselves. How many youth do you want to get into the legislative arm of government? How do you want to identify who the youth want to support, since the youth occupies the largest percentage of our population? This is it. That is why you get prepared. That is why it's called opportunity. When opportunity meets preparedness, comes success.
I mean, are you also planning to become president?
My brother, I have told you.
You know the reason why I'm asking that?
Right.
Asking that question?
Right.
I see that you're also doing some stakeholders meeting here and there. So, I mean, these are usual traits that we see of people who have ambition. And so I'm wondering, so when you are also speaking about a younger president, I'm wondering, maybe you have the ambition.
For me, if you check, I have already declared my senatorial ambition.
So yours is Senate?
Yes,
not
because
president.
mine is Senate, not president. But I understand that the youth must be prepared. That is one thing. So if you see me putting the youth together, if you see me working, with the youth, it is because I understand that the youth has a number and they can decide what will happen in 2023.
But in your
we
party,
must be prepared.
In your party, Honorable, your party is going to be looking at two major things. The PDP only sole agenda is to remove your party from prominence at the center to take over in 2023. That is the agenda of the PDP. But your party wants to retain power. It also is trying to stabilize the leadership of its party, of the APC. So the question is that first and foremost, the first order is to conducting a national convention, which Mr. Lukman has said is given some parameters into achieving that. From your own standpoint, how can your party overcome the challenges, the hurdles, the first one being the national convention?
The party is made up of politicians, right? And I will tell you that 2023 is a year that everybody must sacrifice for this country, especially the politicians, putting at the forefront the peace and the unity of the party and, of course, of the country. And if you want to do that, you must understand that you cannot achieve that without putting the youth into consideration. So the party must do a convention. While you're doing that convention, if the youth are prepared and they have an agenda on how to be included in the party system, then the party must be able to be proven to the youth at every level. There's a convention, there's a primary time, and before the general election. So if you understand that this is the winning factor the youth are the winning factor for the election in 2023. And the party would need to put the process together. And this is the time that the party must put unity and peace of this country at the forefront.
All right.
And people must be able to sacrifice.
Another issue, which was a very controversial one, was the issue of the primary, the mode of primary. I'm going to come. Let me allow Mr. Lukman to start a conversation on that note, because this is also one of the issues raised at the forum when they're talking about the process of how leaders emerge, and this mode of primaries have become a major talking point. It will go down that the president has said, look, if they fix the mode of primaries, and one of the reasons why he rejected is willing to consider and sign the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. In your own point of view, why do you think that it is important for people to think that it's only one mode of primary that should be considered?
I think this is part of the, I don't know whether it's perception problem. The most fundamental thing, I believe in direct primary. Let me clear that from the outset. But direct primary cannot happen if our membership as a party is not clarified. We need a membership register that can be accessible. And when you come to election during primary at the party, accreditation can be done in a very fair and transparent manner, which means the register in the first place is not in doubt. There will not be controversy in terms of people who are on the register. And that is why we advocated, and we are grateful to the party leadership for agreeing to that, to undertake membership registration and the validation exercise. Now, having done that, the next stage will be to have, just like Annie, to have displayed that register either at world level, let everybody verify the records are clear, and then the process of ensuring that it is electronically preserved is done. Then you issue a membership card that may have security feature which cannot be duplicated. Now, if you don't do that, and you can't guarantee that your secretariat is even keeping the record the way it should be done, you create a problem. We have had direct primaries. The last one was the Anambra election. And we've seen how it was abused. Results were just written. And that is why, for instance, the court pronounced that no valid primary has taken place. So we need, and I think that those are some of the other underlying issues that made the president not to really assent to it, because, parties can abuse it, So I think as a party, I keep arguing, if you read all my writing, it is there. APC was founded on that vision to ensure that membership participation is guaranteed.
Yeah,
and that was why in 2014...
Another issue, perhaps, Mr. Lukman, quickly, another issue is that will consensus save the party from internal troubles for the national chairmanship or national leadership positions?
Question of how leaders are able to set up meetings, discuss among themselves, and reach agreement. And it takes me back to the point you just discussed with the Honorable.
I'm not hearing no.
The whole issue of leadership is this issue of youth versus elders. I think we are misguiding the young people. Leadership is about trust, and trust has to be earned. You can earn a trust by the way you take responsibility, demonstrate commitment, and then on the basis of which, when it comes to voting, people will now invest their trust on a younger person than an older person. But when that is not done, we will keep losing the ball. I think the whole issue of consensus, if you ask me, it is very possible, but there has to be more and more meetings whereby every issue is discussed.
Let me get Honorable Pala's view on these questions that I've asked you. First, is the issue of the primaries. It's generating a lot of troubles. I mean, I know it will
Directing
come
those.
up again when the primaries come. What's your view on that?
The issue of direct or indirect primaries is an issue that you must pay attention to the merit and the demerit. There's nothing that has no merit and doesn't have a demerit. But when we get to this kind of time, you must be able to identify three important factors. That is the people, which is the main important factor. You are protecting the interests of the people. The second thing is the resources and time. Very important. So if you put this into consideration, merit of the direct primaries, yes, it will give more people the opportunity to decide, what they want for the party. Yes, it will reduce the amount of money that people spend when they want to get primary tickets. But the demerits, truly, is it costs more. And this is a country that you must put that resources into consideration.
So for you,
And
indirect
also,
primary is the way to
also
go.
security as well, because the more people you have in an area, then it causes that. But when you have that issue too, then you look at the indirect primaries. What are the demerits of indirect primaries? People are thinking that the state governors, they have more power and they control the party and they affect the future of other politicians coming up. So if you want to merge these two, you want to manage the resources and you want to merge these, why not use indirect primary, then increase the number of statutory delegates by involving former members, because they are still, if you check the statutory delegates, you see that they still put in some former members. Maybe it's just maybe the leadership of National Assembly. But before you become a leader of National Assembly, you're a member of National Assembly. So why can't the former members of National Assembly be added to that? Why can't former members of the State Assembly be added to that? And that will even help the internal democracy of the party, because people will not, even when they are not in office anymore, they will see themselves as being value for the party. And the party can begin, to have the cohesion that they should have. On
Let's
the
close
inside.
because we need to wrap up now. Is on the issue of the consensus, which I asked him just in 30 seconds. Will consensus help your party?
Yeah, for me, I think as it is now, in as much as whatever that we do, we must put into consideration unity and peace of this country at the forefront, and always make sure that the people's interest is the only interest to protect. And politicians should be ready to sacrifice in 2023.
Honorable Shina Pella, thank you so much, member of the House of Representatives. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Salihu Lukman, the Director General of the APC, the Progressives Governors Forum. Thank you so much, and it's good to see you both again. Thank you so much indeed.